videos that I wanted to do is something just kind of documenting my journey over the last 5 years to get to the point where I'm at now today. I was living in San Jose, had a great job, was working a ton, and just found myself grinding through life. And I think in your mid to late 20s, that's the perfect time to do that. I also had the perspective, and we'll touch on this in a later video, to understand that certain things have a life cycle. And at that point, it was just to work as hard as I could, just grind day in and day out, and accomplish as much as I could, advance as far as I could, and understanding that that ceiling is going to be somewhere, especially in the corporate environment. So worked through my late 20s, 28, 29, 30, and I got to a point where I was doing really well personally and professionally, and just kind of started to see years go by. And I think that's a really interesting thing in life, is you're working and all of a sudden you look up and 2-3 years have gone by. So decided to start exploring some options of moving around to different cities. I had been in the Bay Area my whole life since college, and kind of identified Austin as one of those potential locations. The company I was working for had an office out here, so set the wheels in motion. It took me about 6 months, and I was watching a lot of motivational videos at that time. Eric Thomas was a huge influence to me, and he just mentioned something and said, pick a D-Day, pick your day where you're just gonna pick up and go. And at that time, I don't know why, but I circled September 29th on the calendar. And I'd say July, August rolled around, and everything kind of started setting in that I was gonna have to make that move. So the moving truck shows up, and we had packed everything, took them a couple days to get out of there, and left on a road trip the day after with a couple of my buddies, car full of stuff. We went LA, Vegas, Scottsdale for a couple stops. Took us about 2 days to get all the way to Austin. And from there, I mean, I just had to rebuild in a whole entire life. And that's what I was looking for. I needed some change. And I think that's something, again, we'll touch on in a later video, but it's good for the human being. It's good for your spirit. It just gets that fire in your belly. And I hadn't felt that for a long time. And from there, worked with that company. And then over the next 6 months, worked with one of the guys that I was really close with to kind of outline what we wanted to do, and we ended up starting our own business. Again, just kind of jumping into the unknown. You have to just do that sometimes, and you're gonna make some mistakes, you're gonna figure some stuff out, you're gonna make things happen. Human beings are strong, human beings are super resilient. You just need to give yourself a chance to go through that, because a lot of creativity comes through it, and you find out a ton about yourself. I've learned more about myself in the last year than I have in the last decade. And you go through a lot of these transitions. So we start the business, took us about 6 months. I mean, building the infrastructure, stuff that you think is there at another company. Then we started hiring people. Picked up one person, then picked up another person. And it's always a little bit faster each time, and things just move and move and move. And then all of a sudden you find yourself with, again, we've got a business now. We've done several projects downtown. We've been in it almost a year. And there's been the most intense amount of happiness in my life around not knowing what's around the next corner, but always having a plan and just coming up with things that you think it's the right thing to do, but at the end of the day, you're just kind of shooting in the dark, and not having somebody guiding you and telling you what to do all the time. You're responsible for that. I think there's a lot of magic in that. So now we're responsible for this business. We've got a customer base, and we've got a lot of people that trust us, and they kind of look to us for, you know, what the future is going to look like. And so when you're able to shape that and people look up to you, that gets that fire in my belly. And I think that can apply to people's lives in various different ways, but the principles of always having a plan, always understanding kind of where you want to go, not necessarily having a direct roadmap, but just understanding that things are going to unfold in the right way, and just having trust and faith in that.